Hi, welcome to today's gentle flow. For today's practice, you don't need any props, just a little space to move, and we're gonna get started on our backs. So starting here with soles of the feet on the mat, hips, shoulders, head, all supported, starting in a broken bridge. And we're gonna work on a little core activation to start. As we head into a lot of balancing shapes, it's important to activate the core. So on your inhales, gently pull your knees in towards your chest, feeling that low back press into the mat. And then on your exhales, keep your low back pressing into the mat, tap your toes down. Inhale to lift, exhale to tap. Inhale, lift, exhale, tap. Give yourself a few rounds here, working at your pace. 3 more from wherever you are. Next time your toes touch the mat, lower your soles of the feet with them. Inhale through the nose. Exhale out the mouth. Bring your knees into your chest for some gentle rock and rolls up to a seat. You can always roll over to one side and find a seat from that position if that feels better for you. Noticing the leg you naturally put in front here, let's swap it out for today's practice. Adding in robin's breath, hands start at your heart, palms pressed together, Anjali Mudra. Inhale here. Exhale, palms press forward, round your spine, tuck your chin. Inhale, open your arms up wide, take up as much space as you can, maybe look up. Exhale, palms press, spine rounds. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, palms press forward, round the spine. Inhale, open the arms, take up space. Exhale, palms press, chin tucks. Inhale, back to center. Give yourself a few more rounds working at your own pace of breath. If it feels okay in your body, maybe allow the eyes to soften or close here. So you're focusing more on the movements and how this feels in your spine, less on how it looks or trying to match me exactly. If you miss a move or you're inhaling when you think you're supposed to be exhaling, as long as you're still moving and breathing, you're doing a great job. Keep it up. Complete the round you're on and give yourself one more full round. We'll pause with a neutral spine, hands at the heart. Inhale through the nose. Exhale out the mouth. Making your way to a tabletop. Roll over shins or ankles, coming to hands under shoulders, knees under hips. Now you can add in some traditional cat-cows here. Inhale to drop the belly and look up. Exhale to round the spine. You can keep going with that if it feels good, but we've already warmed up the spine a pretty good amount with that robin's breath. So maybe you want to add in some hip shifts here, shifting the hips side to side. You can add in some side stretches, looking over one shoulder and then the other. Really any movement that feels good to warm up your spine, your body. Give yourself a few rounds of breath exploring that. Use your next breath to come back to a tabletop. Crown of the head reaches forward. Tuck your back toes if they aren't already tucked. And then on an inhale, lift your knees just a few inches off the mat. We'll add in some twists here. So bringing your knees to the left, hips sink towards the right. Come back to center. Other side, knees to the right, hips towards the left. Give yourself a few rounds working at your pace. Lingering on either side if it feels good. Evening out on either side. We'll meet back in center when you're ready. Knees on the mat, Nice stable base here. Next breath, extend your right leg long behind you, toes flexed. Then left arm reaches forward. Now you can pause right here. This is a great stopping point, or adding in some movement. Inhale to reach away from each other. Press your heel, reach your fingertips. Exhale, draw your knee and elbow together. Inhale to extend. Exhale, pull together. Again, finding some core activation. Even though this is a gentle flow and we're encouraging ourselves to move slowly, still finding that strength in the slow. Pause next time you're reaching away from each other. Then hand to the mat, knee to the mat. Give yourself a round of breath, any movement you want before we start the other side. Left leg extends long. Right arm reaches forward. Again, find that base here. Belly button pulls towards the spine. Inhale to extend. Exhale to draw together. Inhale, reach. Exhale, pull together. Few rounds on this side. Pressing into that right knee and left hand as they support you. Allowing yourself to move nice and slow. Pause next time you're extended away from each other, really taking up space. Then hand to the mat, knee to the mat. Walk your hands forward about a handprint. Downward facing dog, hips lift up, heels towards the sky. Give yourself a moment here to pedal out the legs. Maybe you shift your hips side to side or drop your heels side to side. Allowing yourself to explore in these familiar shapes. Next, inhale, bend your knees and look forward. Exhale, step or hop to the top of the mat. Inhale, find a half lift, flat back. Exhale, fold, hang heavy. This time, take your hands interlace behind the nape of your neck. You might bring a little more bend to the knees here, swaying side to side. Real soft upper body. Low body is supporting you here. Then on an inhale, find that same half lift, elbows lift, squeeze the shoulder blades. Exhale, allow yourself to fold. 3 more rounds at your pace. Inhale, half lift. Exhale to fold. Inhale, lift, pressing into your feet, strong flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, release. Hands can come towards the mat once more. Next breath, Urdhva Hastasana, root through your feet, reach up towards the sky. Exhale, hands to heart center. Full breath here, pressing into both feet equally. Hands at your heart, heart pulls towards the thumbs. Next, inhale, arms reach up, maybe look up. Exhale, hinge at your hips, forward fold. Inhale, half lift, flat back. Exhale, fold, hang heavy. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana, root through your feet, reach up tall. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, arms reach up. Then exhale, twist. Right arm comes back, left arm forward. We'll give ourselves a few rounds of breath here. Hips square towards the top of the mat. Press into both feet equally. Notice if you can keep looking forward towards that front thumb. Really expand your arms. Inhale, arms lift up to frame the face. Exhale, other side, right arms forward, left arms back. Hips square towards the top of the mat again. You might notice your glutes firm just a bit here. Pressing into both feet. Arms reach away from each other as long as that wingspan can be. Next, inhale, arms lift. Exhale, hinge at your hips, forward fold. Inhale to a half lift, flat back. Exhale, plant your hands, step back to plank position, toes or knees. Inhale here. Exhale, slowly lower to the mat, aiming for hips and knees to meet at the same time. Untuck your toes. Inhale, lift your heart for baby cobra. Hands might hover above the mat. Exhale, fold back down. Inhale, lift and hover. Exhale, fold back down. Inhale, lift, squeeze the shoulder blades. Exhale, fold. Keeping the hands planted here. Inhale, lift to your version of cobra. Hands press into the mat. Soften the shoulders away from the ears. Tops of the feet press into the mat. Give yourself another breath. Then lower back down, forehead or nose towards the mat. Inhale, press up to your plank, toes or knees. Exhale, hips up and back, down dog. Give yourself a breath here, really lifting your hips towards the sky. Then make your way to a tabletop or a child's pose. Whatever pose sounds better for you. Tabletop, you might continue cat-cows, warming up your spine. Child's pose is great for opening your hips. Giving yourself 3 rounds of breath wherever you choose to be. When you're ready, make your way back to a down dog, taking your time as you get there, thinking long spine here, bending your knees as much as feels good in your body. Inhale, generous bend to the knees, look forward. Exhale, step or hop to the top of your mat. Inhale, a half lift, flat back. Exhale, fold, hang heavy. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana or upward salute, reaching up as tall as you can. Exhale, hands to heart center. On an inhale, reach your arms up towards the sky. Exhale, side stretch towards the right, hips towards the left, fingertips towards the right. Now you can stay right here. I might drop my right arm down, that gets a little tight in my shoulder, so whatever works for you. Maybe your left foot lifts off the mat. Toes can be flexed or pointed, whatever feels better in your body. Embracing a bit of a balance challenge here for a moment. Then come back to center. Side stretch to the other side, hips towards the right, fingertips towards the left. Again, dropping that left shoulder is always an option. Heart spirals towards the ceiling. So just opening the chest here a bit. You can stay here or add in that balance challenge. Maybe toes flex, maybe they point. Maybe this is just me like wanting to be a ballerina, pointing my toes, whatever works for you. Next breath, come back to center, both arms lift. Exhale, hinge at your hips, head hangs heavy. Inhale, half lift, flat back. Exhale, plant your hands, step back to plank position. Inhale in plank. Exhale for chaturanga or the mat. Inhale for up dog or cobra. If you're in up dog, tops of the feet touch the mat and hands touch the mat, but knees are lifted. Maybe you sway your hips side to side here if that feels okay in your body. Next breath, tuck your toes, lift your hips, downward facing dog. Inhale here. Exhale here. Inhale, sweep right leg to the sky. Exhale, step it between your hands. Warrior one, back foot comes in and out at 45 degrees. Inhale, arms lift. We're setting up for balancing stick. So point your front toes towards the top of the mat. On your next breath, shift your weight to the front foot. Hands come down to your hips, maybe back toe taps, maybe it stays lifted. Breathing here for a moment. Then bend back into your front knee, return to warrior one. Hands to the mat. Step back to plank position. We'll hold plank for a full round of breath here. Pressing your hands into the mat, heels away from you. When you're ready, hips up and back, down dog. Inhale, sweep left leg to the sky. Exhale, step it between your hands. Warrior one, front toes point towards the top of the mat. Back toes are at 45 degrees. Find that base here first. Then on an inhale, press into your front foot, balancing stick. Palms face forward, crown of the head lifts. Back toes can be lifted or on the mat. Bend into your front knee, return to warrior one. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step back to plank position. Yogi's choice, you can hold plank or find chaturanga or the mat. Inhale for up dog or cobra. Make your way back to down dog when you're ready. Inhale here. Exhale here. Inhale, bend your knees and look forward. Exhale, step or hop to the top of your mat. Inhale, a half lift, flat back. Exhale, fold, hang heavy. Inhale, chair, hips sink down, arms come to frame the face, and then draw them to heart center. Using that as a bit of a grounding or centering stance. Now you can stay right here, some of you might know where we're going, or you can lift your heels, adding a bit more challenge here. You can stay here or begin to lower hips towards the heels. Toe stand, pausing when your knees tell you to. Keeping that upper body lifted. From wherever you are, inhale, lift back up, passing through chair. Heels stay lifted if you've taken that option. Reach your arms all the way up, tallest you can possibly be. Exhale, hands to heart center. I was gonna see if I could get out of camera frame, but not quite. Breathe in, breathe out. Inhale, sweep your arms up towards the sky. Exhale, hinge at your hips, forward fold. Inhale for a half lift, flat back. Exhale, step right back to a down dog so your hips stay lifted. Give yourself 2 rounds of breath here. Keeping the spine long, bending your knees as much as you need to lift those hips. Inhale, sweep right leg to the sky. Scorpion dog, bend your right knee, opening your hip towards the right. Then add in some hip circles here, circling the knee towards the front of the mat. Really, either direction you start with is fine because we'll switch directions right now. Opening that hip. Next breath, extend your right leg long. Then right foot steps between your hands for crescent. All the toes point towards the top of the mat. Inhale, arms lift. Few rounds of breath here in crescent. You can bring your hands to your hips if that feels a little more grounding. Focus on your low body here first. Maybe you bring a little more generous bend to that front knee. Back heel can press away from you. That's what feels best in my body. Some bodies feel a little better with a micro bend in the knee. Whatever works for you. If you're not sure, try it out. Breathe here. Then bring your hands to heart center. On an inhale, begin to shift your weight forward. Exhale, press all of that weight into your front foot. Warrior 3. Now your back foot might be a kickstand on the mat or extended long behind you. You can also take balancing stick here if that felt better in your body. We'll be holding here for a little bit. If you'd like to add in some arm movements, inhale, open your arms for airplane, palms face down. Exhale, sweep your arms forward, extending. Inhale, draw your hands to heart center. Exhale to airplane. Inhale, reach forward. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, bend your front knee, return to crescent. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step back to down dog. Breathe in. Breathe out. Inhale, sweep left leg to the sky. Exhale, scorpion dog, bend the knee, open the hip. Add in those knee circles or hip circles. Drawing a circle as big or as small as feels good in your hip. Switching directions. Next, inhale, extend left leg long. Exhale, left foot between the hands. Inhale, arms lift for crescent. Hands can come to the hips or stay extended. Check in with your body. Do you need maybe a wider base to feel a little more stable? Do you need to adjust that back leg? Do you need just to breathe here? All of it's great. Give yourself a moment. When you're ready, hands come to heart center. Shift forward. Find warrior 3 or balancing stick on this side. Again, maybe that back toe is still on the mat. Any version that works for you. Falling in and out of it as you need to. I'm gonna add in those arm movements, maybe even just to distract myself from the balancing. You are welcome to join. Inhale for airplane arms. Exhale, reach forward. Inhale, hands to heart center. Exhale for airplane arms. Inhale, reach forward. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, bend the front knee, return to crescent. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step back to down dog. Breathe in. Breathe out. Inhale, bend your knees and look forward. Exhale, make your way to the top of the mat. Inhale for a half lift, flat back. Exhale, fold, hang heavy. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana, root through your feet, reach up towards the sky. Exhale, hands to heart center. Give yourself a moment here, pressing into both feet equally, maybe even feeling like you can pull those arches up towards your body. Finding that base. We'll begin to shift the weight towards your left foot. Right foot lifts off the mat, maybe just a bit at first. Then using your core to pull your knee up towards parallel with the mat, flexing your right toes. Standing balance pose. This is a beautiful and challenging shape. You can stay here or add in that twist from the start of practice. Right arm back, left arm forward. Embracing the wobbles and wiggles. Give yourself a full breath here. When you're ready, come back to center. Then shifting your weight forward, tick-tock your right leg behind you, crown of the head reaches forward. Here in warrior 3 for just a moment. Next breath, lift your upper body. Right foot comes back to the mat. Breathe in. Breathe out. Other side, weight shifts to your right foot. Again, keeping that base here. Maybe start with just a little gentle lift. Then feeling that core engage. Pull your knee up to 90 degrees, flexing those left toes. Standing balance, you can stay here. Or left arm reaches back, right arm forward. Embracing the wobbles and wiggles. Strengthening that ankle joint beneath you. Give yourself a moment. Hands come back to heart center. Hinge forward as your left leg extends behind you. Warrior 3, not holding just as long, here for just a moment. Then slowly lift your upper body. Left foot comes down to the mat. Inhale through the nose. Exhale out the mouth. Inhale, arms reach up, maybe look up. Exhale, hinge at your hips, forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale to a half lift, flat back. Exhale, plant your hands, step back to plank position, toes or knees. Keeping your body lifted, lower to your forearms. Hands can interlace here for a little more stability. Then lift your hips, walking your toes in for dolphin, really pressing into your forearms, finding your shape. Some bodies feel better with a real generous bend to the knees here. Some bodies feel better with legs extended. Check it out. Give yourself a few rounds of breath here. If you're feeling fancy, you can play with inhale to lift one leg, exhale to lower down, and then the other side. If you feel better with both feet firmly on the ground, that is also fine. 2 more breaths here. Slowly, feet walk away from you, returning to that forearm plank. Then knees to the mat, hips to the mat, Sphinx. Back toes untuck, tops of the feet press into the floor. Hands can stay clasped or palms open, pressing into the floor. Breathe in, breathe out. Noticing if your shoulders are creeping up towards your ears. Press into your elbows to lift that upper body, lengthening the sides of the neck. Here for just one more breath. And when you're ready, press back to a child's pose. Knees as wide or as narrow as feels good for you. I'm gonna take my hands to create a little pillow, resting my forehead here. Arms can be extended in front of you or back by your heels. Give yourself a few moments. Explore and find the shape that feels right for you. Next inhale, press that upper body out of the shape. Sweeping your heels out from under your seat. Extend your legs long. Starting here in staff pose for a moment, you might almost pretend like you're zipping your legs together, a little more active than we usually get into this. Hands can come down by your hips. This is totally dependent on the proportions of your arms. Arms might reach easily, arms might feel a little far away from the floor. Wherever you are, find a pressing point and then lift your upper body so you really feel that length of your full spine here. Keeping that length, then begin to hinge forward, rounding forward when you feel ready. Keeping that idea of a long spine here. Maybe the crown of the head points right above the toes, as long as you can be. Give yourself 3 rounds of breath. I don't know why, but for some reason I have a vision of like a laser beam right out the top of my head, like above my toes. If that helps you, Add it into your practice. If that sounds ridiculous, forget that I said it. Next breath, we lift the upper body out of the shape, keeping that long spine. Then bend your knees, hips shift forward just a bit, lower back down to that broken bridge from the start of practice. Giving yourself a moment here. Start with just some gentle windshield wipers, allowing the knees to fall one side and then the other. Finding a pace that feels good for you. Low back presses into the mat. Now, if this movement feels good, you can keep this going for as long as feels good for you. If you'd like a more restful twist, I guess, pause when your knees come back to center. Then take your arms out to a cactus or a T shape. Shift your hips a bit to the right, knees fall to the left. Pausing here in this reclined supine twist. Maybe your top leg wraps around the bottom for a bit more of a twist in your hips, or knees can stay stacked. Whatever version feels best in your low body. Breathe here. One more round of breath on this side. When you're ready, unwind, come back to center. Then shift the hips to the left, knees to the right. Again, maybe you wrap that top leg around bottom. Maybe you gaze over the left shoulder. Goal here is to find the twist that feels good, but also allows your body to soften into the shape. So we don't feel like we're forcing or holding on too tightly. Find the shape that's right for you today, and then settle in. Next inhale, guide yourself back to center. Hips square, pressing into the mat. Knees hug into the chest just gently here. Hands might rest on the shins. Maybe some last movement, rocking side to side or rolling out those ankles. Spent a lot of time supporting you in those balancing shapes. When you're ready, knees come up to the forehead, tight little yogi hug, everything squeezed together. And then extend into Shavasana. Legs extend long, arms hang heavy, allowing your body to take up space here. Allow your body to be soft here. Check in if there are any last wiggles or movement that you need. Maybe if your low back feels better with soles of the feet on the mat, bringing a bend to the knees and supporting yourself that way. Finding the shape that feels best in your body. Breathe here. I'll let you know when it's time to come out. body can remain still. If it feels good and is available to you today, you are more than welcome to stay in this place of rest. If it's time to close out your practice, start with whatever gentle movement feels good, feels intuitive in your body. Then make your way to a fetal position on either side. Pausing there for just a moment, embracing some stillness before you press up to any comfortable seated position. Eyes can stay soft or closed, giving yourself a moment to feel into some gratitude for showing up today and honoring your body with movement and with rest. We'll close with a collective breath. Inhale, reach your arms up towards the sky. Exhale, draw your hands back to heart center. Thank you so much for sharing your practice with me today. Thank you for being part of this rad community, and I hope you have a wonderful day.